You're so hot.
Excuse me?
No, I mean like you're smoking.
Pixar is an expert at putting amazing details in their movies that fans only discover over time. Did you know that? And with Elemental, it was no different. For instance, in the scene where Wade and Ember are riding in a hot air balloon, it involves a physical process, precisely generated by the heat emitted from Ember's body. Every balloon flying in the skies uses heat because hot air always rises, and that's exactly what Ember is doing. She heats up the air so the balloon can fly.
Makes sense.
This is one of the things that only the fire people from Element City can do. Cool, right? And Peter Schoen, the director of the film, said that the movie is full of cool details that he himself doesn't even know where the team placed them, and he challenged the fans to find the most number of cool things hidden in the film.
Challenge accepted.
No.
And we accepted the challenge and discovered 10 really cool things that no one noticed in Elemental, and we're going to tell you all about them now. Marriage proposal. Elemental is definitely a beautiful love story between two people from different elements that ends in marriage. All of that is true, but we're not just talking about Ember and Wade. You see, most people didn't even notice, but long before the main couple actually gets together, we see in the movie another couple from different elements getting together. When Wade and Ember are at the entrance of Cyclone Stadium to watch the movie, check this out. There's a water guy proposing to an Earth girl. Can you believe it?
Check out who found the gift shop.
Please take all that off.
But I got you a hat.
The cool thing is, the girl being proposed to is the same one who appeared in the subway in the trailer. The moment Ember and Wade see each other. They might have even met on the subway too. Wouldn't that be something?
I love romance.
Hair and plants. A really interesting detail that few people noticed in Elemental is related to, well, the hair of Earth people. Instead of hair and fur, Earth people develop plants on their bodies, which is normal after all, they are made of soil, right? And we can see that the overwhelming majority of Earth people have only one or two types of plants on their heads and bodies. But we noticed that a mommy who is on one of the subway cars doesn't have plants as her hair, but instead, she has crystals, similar to the ones that Ember and Wade used to have fun at a certain moment in the film. This was an exception and a really interesting detail that we noticed. I wonder if it's a trend or a fashion statement.
Oh, no.
Ferns plants. Continuing with the details related to the hair and fur of Earth people, normally each Earth person has a maximum of two types of plants on their body. One on their head and another on their body, like Claude, who has a flower under his armpit. And there are other Earth people who have the same type of plant on their heads and also spread across their bodies.
Could you tell where my head was at when you found me?
But in the case of Fern, we see something completely atypical. This guy has not just one, but at least 5 different types of plants. On his mustache alone, there are 2 types, some longer ones and others with leaves shaped like indoor plants. On his head, we have the same plant with triangular leaves, another plant with longer and rounded leaf shapes at the tips, and even little branches that look like ferns. Besides, there's the same plant that he uses as a mustache, which he styles into a little tuft. Oh, and let's not forget about Fern's nose, where some tiny plants are growing. It's hard to tell if they were grass or moss. One thing we can say, Fern is a pretty diverse guy. I just don't know if it's the result of a cool style or simply a lack of personal grooming. But Ember ended up giving Fern a free depilation session, so it'll take a while for everything to grow back again. Pizza Planet. If there's an Easter egg that definitely always appears in Pixar movies, it's the Pizza Planet truck. Except for The Incredibles 2, it showed up in all the other films by the studio. And in Elemental, it makes a quick and brief appearance, but we noticed it. This time, it's not a pizza truck, it looks more like a little boat from Pizza Planet. It appears when Cinder, Ember's mom, goes after her in the building where Wade's family lives. The little boat passes right behind her. Maybe their slogan is delivering flavor throughout the Pixar Multiverse. I mean, if there really is a multiverse, of course. We here think it would be really cool if one day there was a Pixar movie that brought together various characters from the studio in an epic adventure. It would be awesome to see Buzz and Nemo in the same film, or Lightning McQueen and Carl from Up, maybe racing each other. If you think it would be great to have a Pixar shared universe, comment below, #Multiverse. Magazine with Arlo, the good dinosaur. Ember's family store is filled with clever puns and really cool things. However, the challenge lies in finding those details that are practically imperceptible. When Bernie, Ember's dad, talks about his store, the fireplace, we can find a small hidden detail in the magazines that are way in the background. If you zoom in and look closely, you'll see that Arlo is on the cover of the magazine just above.
You didn't see anything.
The cool thing is, Peter Sohn, the director of Elemental, also directed the movie The Good Dinosaur, so the team decided to pay homage to their boss this time, Magazine with Wall-E. The interesting thing is that it's not just The Good Dinosaur that appears in the magazines. If you look a little further down, there's another magazine with the title Future, and on the cover, there's a robot that looks a lot like the beloved Wall-E, the protagonist of the Pixar film released in 2008. Pixar Multiverse. While we enjoy Elemental, we've already been informed about the name and a bit of the story of the next Pixar film. We're talking about Elio, a boy who is mistakenly taken to space as the representative of Earth. And in a flashback of young Wade when he was in school, we see a reference to the movie Elio, which Pixar loves to do. We can see a poster with references to a science fair and also a space club, where there's a drawing of a globe with some rings around it. This further fuels the fans' theory that all Pixar movies don't take place in the same world, but are connected by multiverses, and the planet where the people of Elemental live is just one of the many possible worlds. It would be cool if that were true. Who knows what the future holds, right? Sponsor that makes no sense. During the game where Ember and Wade go to the stadium to watch the match and talk to Wade's boss, we see a very interesting detail that went unnoticed by most people and is totally connected to another Pixar movie. One of the game sponsors displayed on the stadium signs is promoting something that makes no sense. It's a burger franchise called Log Burgers, but they serve burgers made of wood. And as we saw in Ember's dad's store, the only elementals who eat wood are fire people. But here's the catch. Fire people typically don't attend airball games. At least, not without pain. In fact, the only fire person in the entire stadium was Ember herself. And I highly doubt that ad was meant for her. So, that advertisement in a game not attended by fire people makes no sense. And it's definitely something that went unnoticed by the Pixar folks when creating that movie moment. No checks accepted. At Ember's family convenience store, there's a sign at the cash register that says no checks, which might signify a common policy in some businesses that don't accept that form of payment, which has become almost obsolete. However, we can say that there's another reason for that sign to be there in the family store. Checks are made of paper, and as you may know, fire and paper don't go well together. So technically, it would simply be impossible for Ember's dad, Bernie, to accept checks, even if he wanted to. As soon as he held them, they would turn to ashes, and he would lose all their value. Maybe initially he tried accepting this form of payment, but it's highly likely that over time, he gave up. I can't blame him.
Ow! My queen. Sorry, buddy. Elements don't mix.
Well, folks, those are the 10 super interesting things that practically no one noticed in Elemental. Which one did you find the coolest? What detail did you notice that wasn't mentioned in the video? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye-bye!